So, who here likes Gary Bettman?
Good afternoon. I love your energy. Hello, Columbus. This is as loud a building as I've ever heard. First of all, once again,
Even in Vegas?
this is an NHL city. So thank you. You can do it. You can do better than that. That's more like it. It's okay, I'm bringing a gift.
I'll just go ahead and say it. Gary Bettman is the greatest thing that has ever happened to the NHL. Although Bettman is really just a symbolic figure and a messenger for the owner's interests, I'll be focusing on the events that happened during Bettman's time as commissioner. So, what did he do to make people hate him so much? In 1994, the NHL was in big trouble. Players' salaries were getting out of control, and the Canadian dollar was at its second weakest point in history at that time. Simply put, small market teams and the Canadian teams were going bankrupt. In an attempt to save these franchises, Gary and the owners came together to try and implement a salary cap. However, the teams that were barely getting by got hit pretty hard during the lockout, so the season had to continue with no real changes. Now the question becomes, what was the result of a no salary cap league? The irony here is that people say Bettman hates Canada and tries to Americanize the game, but the truth is, Bettman was the one who fought for the Nordiques and the Jets during the 1994 lockout. I mean, there's nothing wrong with players negotiating for the best contract possible given his environment, but there is something wrong about putting blame on Bettman for the very event that he tried to prevent.
The dream.
Nope.
What's new? Second lockout in 10 years. It sounds very bad, and it is. The imbalance and disparity in the league is still a big problem. Although fans had to endure a dreadful year while people lost jobs and got laid off, a new hard salary cap that was made in 2005 still positively impacts the NHL today. Because the salary cap made a more even playing field for everyone, the NHL itself is more competitive and more exciting to watch. For example, the NBA has a soft salary cap where they can just go over the maximum amount and just pay whatever the fine is. I mean, this is why there are only like 4 teams in the NBA that actually have a chance to get a ring. I mean, it would be like Doughty and Tavares going to Pittsburgh so that they can win 5 Stanley Cups in a row or something. I mean, it's really dumb. Really dumb. Third lockout in 20 years. Really? I think at this point it's like NHL tradition to have lockouts now. So anyways, 3 lockouts in 20 years sounds really bad, and honestly, this was about the owners taking a bigger piece of the pie. The revenue split for players were reduced from 57% to 50%. By allowing the owners to keep more of their revenue, it gives them financial freedom to reinvest into their businesses, allowing the owners and players to make more money. This is a graph showing the growth in revenue for the NHL since 2005. Yes, players now get a smaller percentage of revenue, but let's keep in mind that players today make more money than ever before thanks to the overall increase in revenue. I hear a lot of people say Bettman is an idiot for not going to the Olympics and how the NHL missed their opportunity to grow the game, but it was actually Gary Bettman who wanted the NHL players to fly to Japan for the Nagano Olympics in 1998 for the first time since ever. Yeah, Gary Bettman was the one who started our love for Olympic hockey. As of yet, putting a hockey team in the desert has not looked the best so far. The potential is there with their huge TV market and population, but the interests have been lacking to say the least. But you have to admit that this was a very bold decision to grow hockey in an unpopular market. Yes, mistakes were made, but the overall big picture result is very positive, and it's pretty difficult to imagine the NHL without these teams. At what point should a franchise relocate? I mean, a lot of teams have history of poor attendance and almost relocated, similar to that of the Coyotes. Even Chicago, before the Kane era, had some serious attendance problems, and look at them now. Or, more recently, what if the NHL relocated Nashville when they were struggling? It's hard to predict, especially with the sport of hockey being new to so many people on so many levels. The game of hockey became less about physical dominance and more about speed dominance. Today is a game about skill, not hits. It's unfortunate for people like me who really enjoyed the old days of crazy hockey games, but we have to look at it from the other side of the spectrum. The main problem about the old game is that we need to try and prevent future incidents like this.
And Lindros is hammered down to the ice by Scott Stevens.
we have to ask ourselves the value of our entertainment versus the lifelong problems that the players have to deal with for the rest of their lives. CTE causes depression, memory loss, potential drug abuse, and can lead someone to suicide. I'm not gonna sit here and praise Gary Bettman for this. I mean, it's a logical business decision, but it's definitely a morally wrong action to take. The NHL isn't ignoring the science, it's just very easy to disprove it in court because of how new the studies are. But the research does look very promising, and I think we're going to the right direction for the future. However, what I will say is that Bettman works for the owners, and if he doesn't say what they tell him to say, he'll get fired. Then, the owners will find someone else to deliver their agenda to the public. And the $9.5 million salary that Bettman makes per year makes it a lot easier to become their scapegoat. Okay, let's talk about the good things that Bettman has done. Player salaries has gone up. The revenue has increased. There are more teams in the NHL than before. The expansion fee has risen while many billionaires are eager to join the party. Value of franchises increased while Toronto became the first $1 billion franchise in 2012. The NHL gets massive record-breaking deals from huge media networks like Rogers and NBC. Bettman introduced the Winter Classic, but we might as well call it the Chicago Classic now. Although it's not perfect, the league is safer than ever before for the players. There are more games played in Asia and Europe, while exposure is greater than ever in all parts of the world. And finally, Gary brought back the Jets!
Lion A shooting scores!
So that's pretty cool. Gary Bettman has transformed this league into a business that imposes a serious threat to the MLB and the NBA. Bettman's impact is felt all over North America, and the NHL has never been this successful in its 100-year-old history. He is a grower, not a shower, and he's damn good at his job. So next time you see Gary Bettman, boo him. Not because you hate him, boo him because it's in our culture to do so.
Music City is clearly a hockey city. So thank you.